One of Chicago's most powerful aldermen has a conspiracy theory for the voting problems experienced during the March primary. Alderman Ed Burke wants to know why the Chicago Board of Elections would pick a Venezuelan company to supply the city's new voting machines, a company Burke believes has the ability to rig an election for political gain. Good evening, everybody. I'm Cheryl Burton.
I'm Alan Kraszewski. Ron's off tonight. Now, both the voting machine company and the Board of Elections are calling Alderman Burke's suggestion of a conspiracy absurd. All of this happened during a city council hearing today. They were discussing the problems that occurred during last month's primary. ABC 7 political reporter Andy Shaw was there, and he joins us now with more. Andy?
Alan and Cheryl, Alderman Ed Burke's Finance Committee took a long, hard look at the companies connected to the new voting machines that contributed to the vote counting problems on primary election night. And the result was a wild city council hearing where Burke actually said the problems may be part of an international conspiracy led by the president of Venezuela, who's engaged in a war of words with the Bush administration.
We've stumbled across what could be the international conspiracy to subvert the electoral process in the United States of America.
Alderman Burke says at least 15 Venezuelans who may not have been here legally worked side by side with Chicago election officials on primary night, March 21st, which turned out to be a vote counting nightmare. And Burke says the fiasco may have been politically motivated because the president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, is considered an enemy of the United States and may be connected to a Venezuelan company that owns a U.S. firm that provided Chicago and Cook County with the new voting machines that contributed to the election night problems.
I don't know how anybody could hire a company that's ownership is hidden in the Curacao Islands and traces its roots to Venezuela, where they've already been involved with the dictator of Venezuela, who Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld says is an enemy of the United States.
But according to city election officials and the company that provided the new equipment, the Venezuelans were offering technical assistance, not tabulating the votes, and the conspiracy theory is over the top.
The ability of Hugo Chavez to be manipulating the vote in Chicago is impossible.
We have enough redundant security measures in place to protect the accuracy of the vote.
There were times when some screws were not as tight as they should have been.
The suggestion that loose screws on new machines contributed to some of the election night problems is a perfect metaphor to describe a city council hearing featuring more questions than answers.
I think that you belong to the secret brotherhood of I don't know. And I found your testimony so far to be not credible.
Despite all of the criticism, the president of the voting machine company said a post-election inspection of 1,000 machines uncovered only 3 mechanical problems. So most of the tabulating delays, in his opinion, were human errors. But the company is promising a new set of more user-friendly machines by November. And city election officials are promising a better job of training election judges and checking out the machines in advance. It is, however, probably too late to change companies. And the machine makers, Sequoia of California and its Venezuelan parent, SMARTMATIC, will probably get paid eventually. They're still owed $16 million from a contract with the city and the county. The hearing almost as wild as the election. We haven't got a reaction from Hugo Chavez yet.
No, not yet.
But if one comes this way, we'll translate it from Spanish and tell you about it.
Thank you, Andy.
All right, Chicago politics. Thank you. 2 men now have been